Well, hello. Hello, everyone. I am dirty. That's Chris. Today, Chris is breaking his motorcycle, and I am trying to fix and slightly upgrade my truck. I did decide to put on some 1/2-inch Bora wheel spacers in the front, and I'm just having some clearance issues with my wheel weights, so obviously the most intelligent thing to do is to spend 2 hours grinding down the back of my calipers by hand. So that was fun. The passenger side fits. The driver's side needs a little more, possibly. I can hear it barely hitting. Hear it. But today I'm also going to be re-greasing my brakes where the pads rest in the actual caliper bracket. There's so many metal shavings all over the place in this thing. Ugh. Oh, it's like gut crop in this one. Maybe it's not a bad thing I'm cleaning this out right now. If I'm turning and I'm pulling the brakes, I'll get binding and snapping, and it's actually just the hardware on my brakes where it holds in the brake pads that is actually like kind of binding up. So putting anything in there, like so I just got brake greased, putting that in there will resolve that. I did it like a half-assed way with just some like silicone grease. I just kind of sprayed it in there, and it was fine for a couple days until it rained, and then it stopped being fine. So I'm gonna do it the right way. I'm gonna take it apart, put some grease in there, because I don't know if it was ever lubricated from factory. It probably wasn't, or it was and it's no longer. So that should resolve that. I'm also gonna be changing my oil, which isn't that exciting. But I was getting some detonation with my tune. I do have a 93 octane tune from Jay Green, and it's been great, but I noticed that as my temperatures rise in the truck, I do get ping, I do get detonation, which is not good. So he recommended that I switch to 180-degree thermostat, which will make the truck run a bit cooler, which is fine, it's not gonna hurt anything. And it should resolve my detonation issue. But Jay Green is a true god amongst men. And what he decided to do was answer me back. And on Saturday at 1 a.m. with "Hell yeah, brother, I got you," and a tune. And I haven't talked to this guy in like a month. And he just willy-nilly, that was my thermostat, just willy-nilly messaged me back at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday on Labor Day weekend with a tune. And I was very impressed. I recommend him heavily. So I'm gonna get cracking at doing wheel stuff and probably come back when we are doing the thermostat. The other side I did like barely anything, and this side's like, no, you have to basically shave off half your caliper. And just I want to point this out. It's not bad to do what I'm doing. It's not compromising the caliper in any way whatsoever. Because the stuff that's being shaved off is the back of the caliper from the casting mold that it's in. So it's like the little ridges that pop above it. It's not compromising the caliper, so that's not a problem. And if it is, I'll let you know in another video. I might be dead, but I'll let you know from the grave. So the way I'm going about doing this is stupid, and my brain was like, hey, why don't you put some like grease on top of the wheel weights, so when it rubs against the high spot on the caliper, I can see where it's rubbing, and I can specifically go for that versus trying to grind down the whole thing. So I'm gonna try that. I think that might go well, hopefully. Or it might not grind at all now that I grinded it down more. So we'll see. It could be a complete waste of time.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
So I didn't want to do wheel spacers. I kind of had to do wheel spacers. Long story short, I ordered these wheels and I was given the wrong ones. They were supposed to be a 0 offset, and I received a positive 18 millimeter offset. What that means for people who don't know is the higher the number, the closer it is to your hub. And in this case, where I went with a tire that was wider and a wheel that was wider, I would have issues with rubbing, but they weren't as apparent as it seemed when it was happening. So the rear would rub when I would take hard turns or go over a rock or whatever, and the axle would tilt far enough, it would hit my fender liner. I started noticing that. And when I would service my ball joints on my upper control arms, because they're greasable, I noticed that the inner part of my wheel had been rubbing my upper control arms. So I decided to just get wheel spacers. I do not like wheel spacers that much, but I did get some Bora ones, which are known to be really good. That's kind of probably the best you get. So Bora hub centric. I'm running 1/2 inch in the front and 2 1/4 in the rear. And they're off like that just because the geometry has changed in the front end since I lifted the truck and did extend the travel with the upper control arms. The lower control arms were also extended out a bit too, just by adjusting them pretty much as far as they could go roughly. So that's why I had to get spacers. And they're on now, but hopefully they don't have any issues. I might have to do some trimming for some rubbing because now they're farther out, but it'll look better and it will clear my control arms in the front, so it should be good. I did not want to do it, but I had to do it. Do we?
Did you just grease the slides on the caliper again?
Yeah, they were binding pretty bad. I tried to do it like a...
How come I never have to do that?
Because I don't think mine were ever greased from factory. They are now, they move very freely. They don't bind up anymore. That's a plus. Alright, put this thing back on. Yeah, there we go. So there's a torque spec for this somewhere in the world, and I'm going to look it up because I like to torque things properly. So I wanted to torque those bolts back on. They're 32 foot-pounds. Now the issue is the torque wrench that I have only goes to 50. So what we're going to do is we're going to tighten it till it feels okay, and then we're gonna leave it. Hopefully it doesn't fall off. I don't think it'll fall off. So what I like to do, and it makes me feel a little better inside personally, is you take your ratchet, put it on the bolt, right? You give her a good little tighten, give a little hit, beep. There you go. That one's good. Bottom one, a little tight right here, just the beep. Yep. Torque spec. You can tell because I made the beep noise. So the cool thing about removing my active arrow in the front, which you would sit here, and the fact that it's lifted, oil changes, getting at the filter is a breeze. I can just sit. I can just sit in here. I'm like sitting up pretty much fully. The filter is right there. You can't see it, but it's up there. Trust me, bro. So yeah, if you are annoyed by the oil filter location, just take off your active arrow and then lift it 2.5 inches and put 34-inch tires, and it's easy peasy. You should have done that from factory. It needs more than that. So 1.75 pounds. So I need to do a little bit more. Start it. I run for a second to see where we're at for a level. Still on here. So, gotta come back and do this another day. I've been doing this for a few hours, but the wheels are all set. The brakes are all set. I just gotta check the clearance on that. I might do some trimming real quick. Oil change is done. Thermostat's a bit more involved than I really anticipated, and it's already getting kind of late. So we'll do this another day. It'll be fine for now. But thanks for watching. Sorry about not doing this.